All right, I started recording. We're about a minute out.
Great. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you here. Rick from Startup Portal. All right, so now we have another admit. Is there admit all that you see for us?
I do not, but maybe that requires more than one person to be waiting.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's Katie Kirby, Executive Director of Together We Own It, who just walked 100 miles, by the way.
Yay!
Katie,
She did.
congratulations on walking 100 miles.
Thank you.
Are those blisters healed?
They are. I'm fully recovered.
Good.
This is great. All right, it's 9 a.m. All right, well, let's stick to the schedule. We've got timekeepers among our organizers here. Mick is still in a breakout room, I believe.
Yeah, I had a 1 minute delay on closing it. I think they have the option of joining within that minute delay, but
Oh,
there's
okay. All right.
left before the breakout room ends.
All right, excellent. So for those of you joining us now, we are just now getting started, and we will have one of our organizers here, our volunteer organizers, give you a quick overview as to what 1 Million Cups is and what it stands for, the pillars and all that. We're waiting for Mick to come back from the breakout room. There you are, Mick. So Mick, we're ready to get started. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and go over what the core pillars of 1 Million Cups are all about. Uh-oh. You're muted, Mick.
I know. There we go. There we go.
It's too early.
Oh, tell me about it. Okay. So I'm Mick Mancuso. I am the coach. I have been talking with the folks who are going to be presenting today. And let me get you all through the basic pillars of what 1 Million Cups is all about. So hang on a second. I'll share my screen. And there. Okay, can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the whole idea behind 1 Million Cups is that we want people to come into let's call it a safe place, where they can talk about their business and lay out this is what we do and this is what we're trying to accomplish. Very, very high level description. The idea is that it is not a pitch. You're not trying to get clients. You are asking for help. It's about the how of the business, not this is what we're doing and come and buy our product. We're all in the business community here, and you're getting just getting help from the rest of the people in the community. You're making connections with the other small businesses in the area. The idea is that we're going to be helping each other in terms of how to get the word out, and we're trying to create a culture, and so that small businesses in the community have a place to sit around the table with a cup of coffee and talk about things. That's what 1 Million Cups is all about. Just about 1 million cups. It itself is you might call it a cooperative type of organization. There's nobody who's in charge of it. Nobody's getting paid. We're all volunteers. And we want everyone to feel comfortable and be part of the community, both as presenters and as viewers. So once you present, it would be really, really nice if you start coming in as well and joining all the sessions and passing on what you learned, what you were able to what you were able to do back and forth, and perhaps some mistakes that you made along the way. Here's what we do. We're going to meet every week in order to have a couple of presentations. Every week on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock. And the presenters need to be entrepreneurs or businesses that are less than 5 years old, and they are willing to ask for help. One of the big hurdles to get over is to realize that you even have a need for asking for help. And so their whole idea is, our idea is, once they give their presentation, is, okay, what can we do to help? What is there that we have? What part of it is how do we understand what their business is all about? And then that's the whole question and answer. What can we do to help? What can we as a community do to help? And so these are the members of the organizing team at 1 Million Cups. Graham is the fellow who first started it and roped us all in on this. And then the rest, you'll meet Julius. He's going to be one of our presenters. And the rest are in, and they're going to be helping all of us. So that's it.
You, Mick.
I'll send you, I'll go back to the main room if I can stop sharing.
So everybody, thank you for joining. We're sticking to a clock, so now we're going to jump right in to our first presentation. Hey, did we decide if it's Infinite Love or Dirigible? I guess it's Infinite Love since they logged in first today.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. All right. So without further ado, we're going to kick it over to Tina and Eric from Infinite Love Project, and they're going to introduce you to their business.
Morning, everyone.
Hi.
Let's see.
Hello.
We're going to share our screen here. Verify that that's working.
It is.
Excellent. And can you see us still?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Excellent.
I don't actually see the video.
I see your screen, Tina and Eric, and I don't see you anymore. It just says your names now, but that's okay. You can proceed. And then everybody else should be muted during the time that they're presenting, please.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Tina Thomas.
I'm Eric Miller.
And welcome to the Infinite Love Project. We definitely want to thank the coordinators for establishing 1MC Westminster, Graham, Mick, Jonathan, Valerie, Andrew, Julius, and Russ. Thank you so much. We have our coffee. We're fueled up by Furnace Hills. We're drinking Aaron's Breakfast Blend. So we're all ready to go, I think. Thank you to everyone who's attending. Those we've met and those we've yet to meet. We're excited to be here.
And hi, the whole thing got started as, let me just explain to you what our Siva is, to be as kind as possible. A Siva is a Sanskrit word that means selfless service. And we just invite others to come along on the journey with us.
We started out with stickers, giving out stickers, just trying to make everybody's day a little bit brighter, you know, people that we see. And then Eric, as a custom woodworker, saw some hearts and he wanted to give out something more tangible. So he painted the hearts and we put an infinity sign on it and said, so what are we calling what we're doing? And so the Infinite Love Project was born. And then
we hand them out everywhere. People have come up and told us amazing stories about getting them. And then the Be Kind sign was born. on our front porch on January 14th of last year, after I read one too many stories about kids in cages. I'm like, we're better than this. And so can we at least agree to be kind to each other?
So what the signs and the hearts have done are create positive, memorable moments. We actually design and make the hearts and the signs here in the shop. And then we gift and sell the hearts, the signs, stickered shirts, and art. The biggest thing that I want you to understand about the project is that it's all about how we make people feel, how the signs make people feel, how the hearts make people feel when they receive one.
It's a way that kind, empathetic people can push back against the hate. They feel like they can be actually proactive and still be kind. We have so many heart stories. Giving out the hearts, we'll just share two of them. Reggie was an incredible character, a homeless man who lived in Federal Hill area, and I gave him a heart. And every time he saw me, he would show me that he still had the heart. And to me, that he knew somebody cared about him, even in his state. Also, there's a woman that works at the local Highs store. Every time I go in there for coffee, she tells me about the heart she has on her nightstand. So we've handed out 20,000 of those hearts.
And then when it comes to the signs, we're making memories again. We went to a musical event and had some signs, and the band wanted to put them on the stage.
We put them on the stage, and they were supposed to be for the band, but at the end of the concert, Sunny, she started handing them out to the crowd.
And they were dancing around.
They were dancing around, holding the signs over their head. Wish we had video of that. That was an incredible night.
So what the Infinite Love Project does is give positive reminders throughout the community through one-on-one interaction, but then also through the signs that we've been putting up in the community. We happen to be featured on a Fox show, and we immediately started getting people with that inspirational recognition of, I've seen those signs. And it's amazing what the signs do in the community. It's spreading kindness. It's raising the vibration of the community. People just can't wait to tell us their stories about the photos.
Just this morning we received this.
I want to read you an email that we received. Hello, I'm so happy to have found you. We live on our street, and we first saw your signs on a street adjacent. After I saw a swastika scraped into wet cement, I felt so bad for our community when I saw it, the graffiti, of course, not your sign. Sometime after that, and it did get sanded out, by the way, I saw one of your signs right near it, and I cried with hope for our community. Shortly thereafter, my son, who was 4 at the time, saw them, and he had such a similar reaction to mine. He loves seeing them around town. I just saw someone on our street with one on their house and figured I'd search the internet for you. I would love to get one made for my son for Christmas to match our house if possible. Thanks so much for your time and consideration, and for spreading some love and hope for our family in our community. And that is what it's all about. That's our SIVA. How do we do it? It's made with kindness and love. Currently, the Infinite Love Project is taking up about 900 square feet in our house. And
we're eventually going to run out of shop space.
Yeah. So our customers and collaborators, our target market is everyone, everywhere, USA. Right now, our top markets are businesses. We are listening to our customer requests, the people who are inspired. And so we're putting together custom icons for businesses, geo communities. We initially targeted where we live and work, which is Westminster and initially Annapolis. We have 5 communities where we've been requested to put additional signs up. The music tribes, they're so into it. Teachers and educators, first adopters. We are so grateful to them because they get it and they want to teach kindness as well. And the yoga communities automatically get it. The reach.
We've been in many of these states and countries. We got to mention a United Kingdom news story, and that pleased us greatly.
Yeah, it was awesome. So our mission is to invoke active participation in acts of kindness through words, deeds, and art, and to raise the vibration of the community. We envision everyone encouraging and engaging in dialogue and action to create positive collaborative reality. We value all people, collaboration, creativity, environment, health, honesty, integrity, and of course, kindness. And our goal is to manifest a kinder world, collaborate with others to do the same. So thank you for being here, and 1 million acts of kindness. What we're trying to do, build the vision, utilize technology, collaborate, but also keep it organic.
Yes, huge. Yeah, keep it organic and keep it real.
So advice and collaboration on app development. We have ideas for apps when people are out in the community seeing the signs, and how that can help create even more goodwill in the community and kindness. E-commerce redesign, licensing concepts, location. We're running out of shop space. Material sourcing things, business things where, you know, we've got it down where we've got this business rolling, but we absolutely are open to suggestions and understanding the experiences that people have had out there. Sponsorship modeling, video development. Eventually we'll need a new vehicle. So that's where we are at this time. We look forward to being able to talk to everybody about what their experiences are over a cup of coffee.
We sometimes we look at each other and just giggle, and like, this didn't exist 10 months ago. And we've had so many amazing collaborators. We're basically looking for more collaborators, and we're just interested to know where this is going to take us next.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tina and Eric. I know we all can't clap at once like we're in a room, but we can. Oh, look, we can actually. Look, you can see everyone clapping. All right. So I think at this time we are entering the Q&A portion for Tina and Eric's presentation for Infinite Love Project. So why don't we all post questions in the chat, and then we can, I can read them out loud. If you don't see the chat, there it is right there. I mean, I have a question right off the bat. You said you've given out 20,000 hearts. Do you know how many signs you've made or have been posted around the country?
13,046.
We've made
Wow.
13,046 signs.
And 830 have been installed in public places. We're shooting for 1,000 by the end of the year installed.
Wow, that's amazing. And let's see if we have any more questions. But and you guys are, I mean, are you basically, do you consider yourselves like a merchandise e-commerce revenue model then, as because you're selling these signs, right?
Yes, we are. Yeah, and right now it's e-commerce. Thank you for bringing that up. We became an LLC in February pre-COVID, and our initial marketing and sales model was festivals, especially music festivals, but arts festivals, etc. And so because of COVID, we had to go completely online. And we estimate that we have missed out on approximately $42,000 worth of revenue because of the closure, because of COVID. So we thankfully, everything's been catching on where we're still viable. But yeah, we're open to people to collaborate with to help make sure we can keep this going.
It being down has allowed us to build the business more thoroughly. And correctly. So we're grateful for that.
Everything for a reason.
Everything for a reason.
All right, next question. I got Rick Leinbach from Startup Portal. He's asking, what do you mean by keeping it organic?
From the heart, not the head.
We understand that there's a flow and ebb to the universe. We look for the positive signs. We are open to, sometimes you get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right. So, but we don't want to force anything. If something is just not quite feeling right in a collaboration we're trying to make, of trying to put together, does it fit with our SIVA? Is it in line with our mission? Maybe, maybe not. We're trying to keep to that, and so we can grow this. That's one thing we've learned when we're handing out the hearts. There, 98% of people, it brings them a smile. It's heartwarming to them. Sometimes we get a gasp and a hug immediately because someone needed just someone to reach out with kindness. But there are other people who are just like, no thanks. And so recognizing that when it comes to building and collaborating on growing this, that's keeping it organic to us.
And Casey Davis from NOMI is asking, how much does it cost to create one sign, and how much does each sign cost? Oh, to buy, I guess.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, our price point on creation, we're in the $7 range, $7 to $8 range, and they're selling for 20 plus.
Seven is materials only.
So yeah, so we have a decent margin, but that's something that we're open to talking to manufacturers, anybody out there who's got more experience with price points and margins, and understanding how to make sure that we're doing the right things, so we can stay viable, but also,
competing with the big box stores that you can walk in and get something, it's.
So what materials do you use?
What materials do we use?
Oh, half-inch CDX plywood. Yeah,
which we try to get reclaimed when we can.
And I put enough coats of paint on it that it should last outside for a while.
I'm just wondering if have you looked into 3D printers?
We want to, in part of our SIVA is being kind to the environment, so we want to stick with non-plastics if we can. And right now, 3D printers are all plastics.
Right.
So that's part in looking at our options. That's part of it. Does it fit with our SIVA? Does it fit with our values? And so
I don't know what we use a 3D printer for.
I think it
would take a long time to subtractive modeling.
Stencils.
Yes, I would take a look at marine grade plywood. It's going to hold up outside. It's meant for weather and things of that. No, a marine grade is different than pressure treated.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some options. I was asking how you seal it.
Well, I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And are you hand routing them?
I'm sanding the edges.
How are you doing the inlay of the Be Kind? Is that a print or is that routed down or carved?
It's a stencil. It's a stencil and spray paint.
Okay.
All right, let's see. We have another question from Val Giovanni from Ting. Is this a full-time job for you, a part-time job, or your only job?
Val, this is my full-time job. And I know you were an early adopter. Thank you so much. You got a Datsun that's in your yard. Thank you for that.
There was a photo of her in her presentation.
So yeah, full-time for me, part-time for Eric. He's still a custom woodworker and is working side home improvement jobs to help us make sure that we can continue.
And Kim Samuelson from Magic is asking, so all signs say be kind. Do you have thoughts on increasing to other positive sayings?
Yes, we have thoughts to other positive sayings. It'll be based on what the market's requesting. And right now, be kind is our core. It's the spreading of kindness one heart at a time.
Can you see that?
He did a one love.
Oh yeah.
It's a Bob Marley song.
So yeah, in development of T-shirts, it'll be easier for us to branch out with sayings and that are positive, that are two-word sayings, and see what the market wants to see, what inspires the market, and then perhaps we'll dive into making those signs as well.
But we're also open to.
All right. And then we have a question from Josh Ambrose from McDaniel. Very cool, folks. Thanks for sharing. What do you think Westminster could do to further embrace your messaging as a community? Oh, I think that's a setup.
Bravo, thank you. We are actually, great question, in talks with the Westminster City Council about making Be Kind an official slogan. They already have an official motto. So we're talking about making it an official slogan, talking to community groups about buy-in, knowing the impact, like I read from the email today, that it's having on the community, in raising the vibration of the community. Rising tide lifts all boats. We are completely on board with that. So the community council is very open and actually almost a little enthusiastic about working with us on making this a community saying, to help with.
Yeah, I'm excited to see my Be Kind t-shirt, Westminster, Maryland. That's what I'm looking forward towards.
One of the things we asked for is app development, and we see one as a walking app that you go out for a walk in the city of Westminster, and you can link these 7, 8, 10 crayons, and those could be your waypoints, and you get your 2-mile walk at the same time you see the Be Kind signs.
And then the bigger picture thought that I had was, in using that kind of an app, is to be able to link a sign to information that you get on your phone about a community need or a nonprofit that's helping the community in that location, to help educate other people about the community that's already engaged in helping each other and spreading kindness and sponsorship.
And merchants sponsoring these crayons would be a huge help.
Yeah, we've had a lot of merchants come on board already, and we're so thankful.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, when he's saying crayons, he's referring to the shape of the sign. It's like supposed to look like a crayon, just in case people are wondering what he's saying. So I have another question. Actually, this is related to what you were just saying, from Jonathan Wheatman, attorney at law of the Entrepreneur Store and co-organizer of 1 Million Cups.
Hi, John.
Thank you. He says, have you considered a game/app/social media initiative that's a fun sign spotting game? So you were just saying that. So basically that is what you want to do.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
We're absolutely on board with mapping that kind of thing out and adding that tie-in to what do people get out of it? How can it help the community?
Geofencing your Be Kind signs and plotting them on a map so that you can use them as waypoints for walking, running, like you were saying.
Yes, and we already have waypoints of every sign he's put up.
All right, next question from Chris McCormick, the founder of Hatch Exhibits and Shield Pals. He says, how many units a month are you making? Looks like they're, you were asking about this earlier, about made of wood, were they made out of? How are they finished? How are they holding up? But I guess you answered those other questions, but how many units a month are you making now?
100, 120, something like that. It's rising.
Yeah. Because Eric is still working part-time to help make sure that we can keep this viable, we're not at 100% capacity on production. If he were to do this full-time, that would easily triple. So we still have a little more capacity to produce. We just need to get the sales up.
We have time for a couple more questions here. I see the next two actually are kind of related, from Kim Samuelson again from Magic and Mark Weingram. They're both asking about, is it going to be mass produced basically? Are you going to try to keep them handmade or mass produce them? And then how do you expect to operationalize your mission beyond the message? For example, do you intend to become a B Corp, rely on sustainable materials, or purchase carbon credits to offset distribution implications? Do you earmark a portion of the proceeds for aligned nonprofit organizations? And thanks so much.
Awesome questions. Yes, yes, and yes. We do aspire to be a B Corp eventually. Right now we're an LLC. We do currently set aside a portion of our proceeds to go to a nonprofit. We were contemplating, or in the stepping, we were going through the steps to become a nonprofit as well, but we realized that our energy needed to be in getting the message out and making a profit so that we can give. So there's a couple of nonprofits out there. The top one that comes to mind is Kindness Grows Here, that we can align with from a nonprofit standpoint. And I forget the rest of the question.
I think you answered it. Yeah.
Okay.
And And then let's see here. You talked to Ann Gilbert from City Council from the City of Westminster. She had a question about making it the slogan for the city. And we've talked about that. And what's your, well, yeah, she's actually asking you more of your motivation behind that. What's your motivation for wanting, maybe not even just Westminster, but any other city to adopt Be Kind as a motto?
It's our belief that everything functions a little bit better when you're around kind of empathetic people. If you're not afraid to ask for help or give help, things are just going to happen that otherwise would not happen. And can you imagine if Westminster really embraced this? Everything, people would want to move to Westminster. Housing values go up, city revenue rises, and a rising tide.
And rising tide lifts all ships.
Yep.
So in working with the city council and also talking to other community groups to say, here's what the city council's thinking, here's how we would like to, help with the buy-in or the understanding of this is a good positive thing, and the community, there's a section of the community that gets it and appreciates it, saying to the rest of the community, hey, why not adopt this, this mindset? It's positive, it's going to help everybody. So
And what
it's a fun thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a fun thing.
Well, and the last question, and we asked this is the tradition of 1 million cups. For those of you who are just learning about 1 million cups, is the last question is, what can we as a community do to help you? Any specific asks today?
I guess come along for the ride.
Yeah.
Whether you want to echo us and just share kindness, whether you want to amplify that message, or you want to articulate it in your own words, everybody participates. Everybody can participate, whether you buy a sign from us or not. Just be kind. If you want to do more with us, that's awesome.
Yeah, then please reach out and we'll have a Zoom cup of coffee or in real life outdoors cup of coffee. We appreciate
you'll get a heart from us.
everybody's perspectives and input.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you. Thank you, Tina and Eric from Infinite Love Project for presenting today.
Thank you.
We are now going to transition over to...
Can I interrupt for just a second, Graham?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Mick. Yep.
Is there a way for us to send all of the chat questions, because you weren't able to get to all of them, to Tina and Eric?
Yes, we can copy those before we end the
Yes,
meeting.
please. Thank you. Very kind.
And so while we're transitioning over to Julia Snap from Dirigible Systems, I just want to thank our other community sponsor, Furnace Hills Coffee. Now, for those of you who don't know, Furnace Hills is a local coffee roaster here in Westminster. It's furnacehillscoffee.com, I believe. You can use the code 1MC Westminster. I'll put it in here in the chat, and you will get 25% off any of their coffees on their website. Westminster, there you go. Thank you to Furnace Hills Coffee. And of course, our other community sponsor is Magic, and Magic does nonprofit workforce development, technology, innovation development here in the city of Westminster. All right, so we're ready for Julius from Dirigible Systems. Go ahead and share your screen, Julius. You're all set. And you're on mute still.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, now everyone else mute, please, while Julius is presenting.
All right, is everyone seeing my screen? All right, so my name is Julius Knapp. I'm the co-founder of Dirigible Systems. I'll just start out by saying, Tina and Eric, you gave a really tough act to follow, so congratulations and good luck to you. For the community, I just want to say my goal with this presentation is just to give you some information about my company and also to help you understand the problem that we're trying to solve. This is kind of modified from my my pitch deck, specifically because it has a few slides in there, but I will apologize if it sounds a bit pitchy. But the first thing you should know about Dirigible is that we're Maryland's premier fog computing company. So what does that mean though? First, I think you need to understand the problem with cloud computing. Excuse me 1 second while I transition. So as bandwidth and low latency needs increase, the cloud just can't keep up. There are too many hops between you and the service that you need. You likely encounter this problem almost every day when you video conference with school, work, friends, and you notice there's a delay between when you speak and you see that your audience has heard you. This delay might be okay for some applications, but it's not nearly small enough for many of today's smart devices. I think the question we get from a lot of people is, yeah, but I have broadband. Why is this a problem for me? And I think, unfortunately, I'm going to go out of presentation mode a second. If I can. Yeah. Where would we be without these kinds of problems? How do I go back now?
Julius, are you trying to end your presentation to share a different screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, just do stop share. There's a red button right
Okay.
there.
All right. So can you guys still see my, you can't still see my screen, can you?
No, you'll have to reshare it now if you were trying to switch windows.
All right. Everyone can see my screen again?
Yes.
All right. You don't have to look at my ugly mug anymore. All right. So I think the problem is, unfortunately, a lot of people think of this map. You know, when they think of broadband, the familiar coverage map, and it seems like nearly everyone is covered. But you should really be thinking of these two maps. This is where your points of presence are. This is where, for example, Comcast meets with Ting, or Comcast meets with Verizon, to provide your internet. These are where your points of presence are. You notice here we are in Westminster up here, and we're kind of far from all of these other points of presence. The other map you want to think of is, this is like the internet backbone. And this is specifically for one company, but you notice, if I zoom in here on Westminster again, we're kind of not connected. We have this is the Carroll County Public Fiber Network, which was installed, I think, more than a decade ago now. And we're kind of not connected to larger parts of the region, with these like high capacity lines. So I think this is really what you need to think of as where the internet is, if we're thinking of what the problem is that we're trying to solve, this is really it. So how do we fix this? We bring that cloud down to the ground, and this is what fog computing essentially does. It places the resources you need closer to where you live and work. There's fewer hops, lower latency, and better responsiveness. With fog computing, you can trust that your most critical and time-sensitive data is taking the most direct route to its intended recipients, and it enables new capabilities that were previously not possible. For example, healthcare professionals can monitor their patients remotely, and businesses can interact more closely with their customers. I think interactivity is really a big part of what fog computing enables. I'll show you. There's and this has been studied pretty extensively. The amount of delay you need to have to for certain applications. For VoIP, you need to have a delay of less than 300 milliseconds round trip. It's pretty quick for gaming and remote desktops, like what a lot of people are using today for work. What I use every day for work, it needs to be less than 200 milliseconds. And one of the questions we actually got during the Carroll Biz Challenge was regarding latency and ping times. And ping times can be pretty quick. What this is really measuring is how quickly you can get a response from the services that you need. And you frequently can get ping times as low as almost 20 milliseconds. But that's not really all that has to happen when for some of these modern day applications. There's large amounts of data being sent up to the cloud. Typically, it needs to be processed before a response can even be sent back. So the delay is just too large. And this is one of the reasons, for example, that Google Stadia, its online gaming service, has kind of struggled because a lot of people don't have the infrastructure in place. Even though their ping times are really low, they don't have the infrastructure in place to enable this capability. So we're able to accomplish this, where there's a high-speed fiber broadband infrastructure, like for example in Westminster. Our servers reside locally on those networks to serve the end users directly. And our first phase, we want to start right here in Westminster, with plans to go to expand to Central Maryland and beyond. The idea of fog computing was actually started by Cisco in about 2011, if I remember correctly. And as I mentioned, it's been studied pretty extensively. The fog can compete with with cloud services really just by being the first to touch the data. You really don't need these large, expensive data centers that, for example, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon have set up in a number of regions throughout the country and the world. You can do this with low-cost commodity hardware, and you increase speeds just by, like I said, being the first point of contact, essentially, whenever you need a resource over the network. This is all part of a brand new market. It's expected to grow to $4 trillion within the next 10 years. The fog computing market, I think, is expected. I think this is kind of the total, compound adjusted growth rate. The subset of this market, which we kind of reside in, is expected to grow at almost 50+%, depending on which estimate you look at. So as part of this market, we target a diversity of businesses within Carroll. We want to enable all of these new capabilities that we talked about, like autonomous drones for agriculture, Internet of Things for manufacturers, and progressive web applications for customers that just want to break free from the app stores. We offer a public fog with curated services designed to support a variety of business needs. We also offer professional services, because we understand that we know this technology better than most right now.
Hey, Julius, I got to interrupt. Sorry, buddy. We're over time for you now.
Oh, all right. Well, that's all right. It was it's really these first 3-4 slides that I'm really trying to focus on, and what I'm hoping that the community can help me with.
Well, and we've got plenty of time for Q&A where you could also go into some of the slides you haven't shown yet, I'm sure. So our first question is from Carl Ledler, CEO of Dynamic Dimension Technologies here in Westminster.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I just lost it, but he was asking, how does this compare or how is it different from edge computing?
So edge computing is a little bit further out. Edge computing is you're putting services on your customers' devices. So for example, your mobile phone might be able to run its own little service in the background, which you can update and modify remotely. Whereas fog computing is just like one step out from that. So all of these edge computing devices that you might need to manage, you would do that perhaps from the fog, because that's where, that's, like I said, the first point of contact where all your data is going.
And Tina and Eric from Infinite Love Project are asking, who are your early adopters for this technology?
So we partnered with the Maryland Mallet. It's a restaurant up here in Westminster. We developed an app for them to manage their loyalty program. We also just got started with Cuddy Vending, who's also here in Westminster. We're developing a web application for them, and I'll actually be speaking with somebody else later this evening to see if we can, what we can do to help them out. Beyond that, we have a contract with the DoD to offer our expertise. We have an additional contract which we hope will pop sometime next year, but COVID has kind of put a delay on a lot of that.
Are you able to talk more about the DoD contract, or kill us?
No, it's nothing like that. Yeah, we're well, me specifically, I'm developing a web application which takes advantage of these fog computing resources where you're out close to where data is being generated. That's about as much as I think I can say.
And then I have a comment from Russ Hammett on our team here. He's moderating the Zoom channel today. He says, I don't understand the concept of fog computing. It sounds like it's separate from attempting to be new internet backbone, but I don't understand what the fog devices actually accomplish. I believe you stated that it allows more immediate processing of a message, but what does that actually buy you? Isn't it just an extra hop?
No, so this would be, instead of having an extra hop, this is like the last hop. So with cloud computing, you have some number of hops. Here, let me see if I can share my screen again. All right, so with cloud computing, I give this diagram, and you have the cloud off here to the right. You have all of the users and devices that need access to the cloud here. And when you need to connect to those services, it's got to hop between all of these different routers. This is probably something you're already familiar with. With fog computing, the idea is, instead of having all these extra hops, you just take these resources and you distribute them closer to the users, closer to the devices, so there's fewer hops. This is the last place that your data goes to before receiving a response back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just realized it'd be easier to unmute myself. So is that kind of just like distributed CDNs?
So it's similar in concept, but it's much different in execution. So with a CDN, you're really talking about content. It's almost like a cache that you've distributed, as you say, throughout the network. So Netflix uses this, for example. So whenever you want to download a movie, rather than going all the way out here to the cloud, you're just the first person to request this movie will have to have the movie stored somewhere locally, but then every subsequent user just goes to that local CDN. It's similar, but this is really more about processing, putting the processing resources out here closer to where the users need it. You're not simply getting data, you're also making requests for data to be processed. So for example, some of these health applications, which you want to be able to receive that data and then act upon it. that's, you know, one of the applications where we really see this as being critical.
All right, I have another question from Josh Ambrose at McDaniel College. He says, very cool. How does our gigabit infrastructure give you an edge, if it does? And what other companies would you like to see make their home here in town?
So the gigabit infrastructure, you know, there's, like I said, I think I didn't actually mention it in this pitch, but by 2030, you know, we really see an explosion of Internet of Things devices. I think current estimates puts it at around 50 billion. I think present estimates have it, and this is actually a little bit older, have it around like 20 billion devices. So this is really just going to be at like 200.
Oh, Julius, I think we lost you.
You
All
lost
right,
me?
Julius, you
Did
cut
we
out for a
lose him?
second.
Oh, there he is.
Yep, can you repeat that last part after you said 20 billion? Oh, no, you froze again. Hey, Julius, maybe stop sharing your screen. That might help if you can hear me.
Yeah, by comparison to what we'll experience in just, you know, in less than 10 years now. So the gigabit fiber broadband really just helps us to explore those new applications, to try and push this really to its limit. And as far as what, you know, other companies, we've been working with Ben. I'm trying to remember Ben's the name of Ben's company.
Oh, Yesti on Main Street. You're talking about Ben Shanat from American Ice Cafe and Yesti. Oh, Julius, you froze. We'll have to get his internet connection checked out.
He unfortunately is not in the city of Westminster.
Oh, so he doesn't have Ting. Julius, you don't have Ting. That's the problem.
Right.
You should unshare your screen, Julius.
Okay.
Yeah, try that. That might help. You might need
Needs
to
to
drop
move to
it.
Westminster.
Yeah, or
Yes.
move to yeah.
Well, that's
Sell
the
your
problem,
house.
really.
and
I'm
move to
like,
West-
I'm right outside the city limits, which unfortunately is just too far.
Me too.
So, all right. So, let's not get too far off track here. Let's see. Mark Weingram, he's asking, does fog continue to be relevant when the efficiencies, bandwidths, and speeds of the internet services themselves improve and reduce latency even over long or complicated routes? I think this is going to be a challenge. All right. Julius, you're cutting it out. Maybe turn off your video now too. See if that helps.
All right.
Did you hear the question though?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So yes, the short answer is yes, because there's just certain physical limitations, you know, namely the speed of light, you know, and the speed, the propagation speed of electrons through wires that you just can't move beyond. You know, you can try and increase the size of the pipe, but ultimately, you know, if you're trying to put all of these services at the cloud, you're going to need, you know, just this massive pipe, as you know, as I mentioned, as the Internet of Things market continues to expand over the next decade.
We have next question. Let's see, Russ, we already followed up about the CDNs. Kim Samuelson, is the fog like a mini cloud?
It's kind of like a mini cloud. It's, you know, at least architecturally, it's similar. But it's the idea is that you put these resources, the data processing resources, much closer to where the data is being created and used, rather than having these like regional data centers. For example, Amazon has data centers in Virginia and Ohio, and that's about as close as you can get right now to you know, major cloud data center. This is trying to put something even closer than that, smaller scale, but much closer.
All right, and Christopher James, musician at large here in town. He also teaches at Coffee Music. He's asking, would this permit playing music together if two people were in the same fog? This is one of the biggest challenges right now for collaborating and teaching music. This could be of interest to music stores and private teachers.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, this is a problem my father presented to me when I first was talking to him about this idea. My father has he just retired from the FCC. He was the director of the Office of Engineering Technology. So he understood everything about this application, but he also happens to be a musician. He's played with a number of bands. And one of the things that he told me, as he mentioned, was the difficulty of trying to rehearse and practice with the entire band. So yeah, this reduces the delay, brings you essentially closer to the other members of your band, if that makes sense.
So that would be appropriate for two people trying to connect, maybe because they're recording together or there's instruction happening, but not necessarily for if you're trying to broadcast a live concert out to the internet, right?
It's certainly possible if you bring all of everybody's sessions, sync them up into their local fog and then broadcast it out from there. Yeah, it's absolutely possible.
Great. All right, let's see how much time we got. A few more minutes here. From Mark again, Mark Weingram. This goes more to the pitch rather than presentation aspect in terms of understanding the competitive space. If this is commodity hardware, and given the size and the cost of data centers, what barriers are there to providers or cloud service companies entering this space?
So for cloud providers, each of the major cloud providers, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, they all have similar solutions. They have their own, kind of fog or edge, computing solutions. But these are all, right now, they're all, their value added is really in their cloud data centers. So all of these, like for example, I'll pick on Amazon. Amazon is their Amazon Outpost, which is really kind of like a private, it's really more like a private cloud that you can set up on premise. And it's the idea really is that it's allowing these customers who aren't able to just completely move everything to their cloud to kind of slowly migrate up to the cloud. So there's the only barrier for them is that the massive amount of investment they've already put in their data centers, and that's really where they want their customers to go.
Gotcha. And Mick is suggesting as a comment that you include something about music as an example in your pitch. That does like it helps send that home to the viewer. All right, for our last question, again, 1 million cups tradition. What can the community do for you, Julius?
So I think just helping to get the word out, letting people know that we have a solution to some of these problems, like for example the video delay I mentioned, the one I believe it was Russ, right, that mentioned the being able to play and rehearse music with other people. There are solutions to these problems, and this is something we want to try and partner with people to do.
And anything the layperson in terms of the community members here that we can do. I mean, spread the word. Are you on Twitter or anything like that? Can we be helping to promote messages?
I'm not on Twitter, but I am on Facebook. I have an Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. So yeah, certainly if you want to friend me there, or I can share things, share milestones as we reach them. But I would absolutely love the expertise of anybody who's had experience launching these kinds of things. I consider myself a kind of self-starter. I love to dig in on things that I don't know much about, and that's certainly something, running a business is still something that I am learning, and so certainly just the expertise.
Great. So it sounds like a fellow entrepreneurial mind could help you with some of that stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
And again, there's more feedback about the music. It seems like there's lots of opportunity there. So maybe that's hopefully a good takeaway from today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, seems to
down
be
that path. All right. Well, everybody, let's thank Julius from Dirigible Systems for presenting today. Thank you. This is the end of the meeting. I'm going to kick it over to Val Giovanni from Ting. She's another 1 Million Cups volunteer organizer, just to sort of close it out for us. Val?
Thanks, Graham. And thank you, everybody. At one point, we were up to 30 participants. And I think that for our first ever 1 Million Cups in Westminster, we did great. So a round of applause for everybody. And thank you for joining us. Thank you to our presenters. It was lovely to have two so different presentations in our first, and really learn about more going on in our community. Thank you to our community sponsors, Magic, and of course, Furnace Hills Coffee. And don't forget, Graham dropped the link in there for your discount at Furnace Hills Coffee. We hope you'll join us again next week, same time, same place. Our two presenters are, please forgive me if I say this wrong, Openix, O-P-E-N-I-X. Is that correct, Graham? He's giving me the head nod, Openix, and Together Studios. So another great week planned for next week, and we'll see you back here then. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
That was great.